You know what the loudest people in the room often have in common? They usually have the least to say. The ones who brag, who gossip, who always need to prove themselves. They're burning their energy in the wrong place. But the person who stays quiet, who focuses on their own path, who refuses to waste words explaining themselves, that's the person you need to watch. Think about it. When was the last time you sat in silence, really sat with yourself, and realized how much power there is in not responding, not reacting, not proving anything to anyone? Most people are afraid of silence because silence forces you to face yourself. And that's where real growth begins. Life changes the moment you stop trying to convince the world of who you are. And instead you put that energy into becoming who you are meant to be. That's when you gain strength. That's when people start noticing, not because you shouted, but because your presence speaks louder than any words ever could. So today, I want you to imagine something. Imagine what your life would look like if you stopped explaining yourself to people who don't even matter. Imagine what would happen if you redirected that energy inward into building, into growing, into sharpening your mind and your character. Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. And when you learn to master it, life will unfold in ways you never expected. Most people think power comes from how loud you can be, how quickly you can clap back, how fast you can prove your point. But true power doesn't scream. True power doesn't beg for recognition. True power sits in silence, fully aware of itself, not needing anyone else's approval. That silence, that restraint, is where your strength is hidden. When you stay silent, you keep your power. The moment you react emotionally, the moment you start explaining yourself to people who don't deserve your explanation, you hand them control. Every argument, every unnecessary word, every moment spent defending yourself is like handing over your energy piece by piece until there's nothing left for you. Think about how many times you've walked away from a conversation feeling drained, wishing you hadn't said as much, realizing you gave away parts of yourself to someone who wasn't even listening. That's what silence protects you from. Silence is not weakness, it's not avoidance, it's discipline. Anyone can explode, anyone can shout back, anyone can waste hours proving why they're right, but not everyone can sit still, remain composed, and choose not to respond. That requires control, that requires inner strength, and the stronger you become, the less you feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. There's a saying, don't wrestle with pigs. You'll both get dirty. But the pig will enjoy it. That's what happens when you waste your voice on people who thrive on conflict, on gossip, on noise. They pull you down into their world and you lose your peace. But when you stay silent, when you choose not to participate, you rise above it. You let them talk, you let them waste their energy while you conserve yours. You walk away with your dignity intact. Silence also forces people to reveal themselves. When you don't jump in to fill the space, when you don't rush to respond, people keep talking, and the more they talk, the more they expose who they really are. This is how you learn. This is how you see people clearly, by giving them the space to show you their intentions, without you ever saying a word. Your silence becomes your shield, and your weapon at the same time. Now, some people confuse silence with passivity. They think if you don't speak, you're letting people walk over you. That couldn't be further from the truth. Silence doesn't mean you accept disrespect. Silence means you choose your battles wisely. It means you understand that not every fight is worth your time, not every opinion is worth your attention, and not every insult deserves your response. You don't let people walk over you, you simply refuse to lower yourself to their level. And when the moment comes where your voice truly matters, people will listen, because you don't waste it on the insignificant. The world today glorifies noise. Social media rewards the loudest voices, the constant opinions, the endless need for validation. Everyone's talking, but very few are saying anything meaningful. And in that environment, silence becomes even more powerful. Because when you don't add to the chaos, when you don't feel the need to broadcast every thought, you stand out. People start to wonder what's on their mind. Why aren't they reacting? Why aren't they desperate for attention like everyone else? Your silence creates curiosity. Your silence creates respect. There is also a deep connection between silence and focus. When you stay silent, you protect your mental space. You stop giving away fragments of your mind to pointless conversations and empty arguments. Instead, you turn inward. You begin to listen to your own thought. You hear your own voice more clearly. That's when you start to understand yourself better, to notice what you really want, to sharpen your decisions. Without silence, you're too busy drowning in everyone else's noise to ever hear yourself. And let me tell you this, silence is uncomfortable for people who are insecure. They need noise to cover their fears. They need constant chatter to distract themselves from their own emptiness. But when you become comfortable in your silence, when you can sit still and not need the approval of anyone else, you separate yourself. You become unshakable. Think about the strongest people you've met in your life. Were they the ones who shouted the loudest, who argued with everyone, who always had to prove they were right? Or were they the ones who carried themselves with quiet confidence, who didn't need to say much because their presence said it all? That's the difference between insecurity and strength. Silence is the language of strength. So here's the challenge for you. The next time someone provokes you, the next time someone tries to pull you into drama, don't give them what they want. Don't feed their ego with your attention. Pause, breathe, stay silent. Walk away if you need to. Protect your power like it's your most valuable resource, because it is. Your silence will irritate people who expect a reaction. Your silence will confuse those who thrive on chaos, but that's the point. You're not living to please them. You're not here to feed their insecurities. You're here to grow, to rise, to elevate your life. And that starts by refusing to waste your energy on noise. When you learn to stay silent, you'll notice something powerful. You'll notice how much lighter you feel, how much clearer your mind becomes, how much more energy you have for yourself. And slowly, life begins to change. You stop being dragged into every storm. You stop being exhausted by unnecessary battles. You start living on your own terms. Silence isn't empty. Silence is full of strength, full of clarity, full of power. And the moment you realize that, you'll stop chasing noise and start embracing the quiet. That's when everything changes. Growth doesn't just happen. You don't wake up one morning stronger, wiser, and more disciplined by accident. Growth is the result of focus. And the reason so many people never reach their potential is because they can't focus. They're distracted by everyone else's opinions, by comparisons, by gossip, by noise. They spend more time watching what other people are doing than building something for themselves. And then they wonder why their life isn't moving forward. The truth is simple. What you focus on expands. If you focus on negativity, it grows in your life. If you focus on drama, it multiplies around you. But if you choose to focus on yourself, on your goals, your skills, your mindset, you create growth. And that growth transforms you from the inside out. The problem is most people don't have the patience to stay focused long enough. They want quick results. They want to see progress overnight. But growth doesn't work like that. Growth is slow. Growth is often invisible at first. You can spend months putting in the work without seeing much change. And that's where people give up. They quit because they can't see immediate results. But if you stay focused, if you keep pouring energy into yourself instead of wasting it on distractions, the growth compounds. And one day you look back and realize how far you've come. Focus also forces you to prioritize. You can't focus on everything. You can't pour energy into 10 different directions and expect greatness in any of them. You have to choose what matters. Do you want to build your health? Do you want to master a skill? Do you want to grow mentally, emotionally, financially? Then you have to cut out what doesn't align with that. Every distraction you eliminate frees up energy to pour into what actually builds you. Think about how many hours people waste scrolling, comparing themselves to others, feeding their insecurities. All of that energy could be used to sharpen their craft, to work on their body, to educate themselves, to build their future. But because they lack focus, they spread themselves thin. They never get deep enough into anything to see results. That's why focusing on yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. It's the only way you can build something meaningful. When you truly focus, the world starts to shift around you. People notice when you're disciplined. They notice when you're not available for gossip, when you're not constantly reacting, when you're not chasing validation. Your energy changes. You start carrying yourself differently. You become more intentional with your time, your conversations, your environment, and that intentionality attracts new opportunities because growth always creates momentum. But here's the reality. Focus requires sacrifice. You can't stay focused on your growth and also be everywhere, doing everything, pleasing everyone. You will have to say no. You will have to distance yourself from people who distract you. You will have to choose silence over noise, solitude over crowds, discipline over comfort. And yes, that's hard. People might not understand. They might think you're isolating yourself, but they don't have your vision. They don't know what you're building. Focus is the separation between those who talk about growth and those who actually grow. And there's something else about focus. It reveals who you are. When you give yourself the time and space to focus, you begin to see what really matters to you. You uncover your strengths, your weaknesses, your true desires. Without focus, you're just drifting, moving wherever the wind blows, letting life happen to you. But when you focus, you take control. You start shaping your life instead of being shaped by it. Growth doesn't happen in crowds. Growth happens in quiet. It happens in those hours where no one is watching. When you're studying, training, practicing, reflecting, those are the moments that transform you. And that's why silence and focus work together. They create the space for growth to take root. You don't need an audience for your progress. You don't need applause while you're building. All you need is focus, consistency, and the discipline to keep showing up for yourself. Look at the people you admire, the ones who built something extraordinary. None of them got there by accident. None of them got there by giving into every distraction, every temptation, every opinion. They focused. They stayed consistent. They kept building, even when no one noticed, even when no one believed in them. And that's why their growth stood out. The same is true for you. The more you focus on yourself, the stronger you get. The more you cut out distractions, the more time you have to improve. And when you improve, life improves. Your relationships improve because you're no longer needy for validation. Your opportunities improve because people see your discipline and respect it. Your confidence improves because you know you're putting in the work. Everything begins to rise when you focus on your own growth. But you have to guard that focus like it's sacred, because it is. Every day, something will try to steal it from you. Other people's opinions, unnecessary drama, your own doubts, you have to protect it. You have to wake up every day and choose yourself, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels lonely, because the reward is worth it. The life you want, the strength you want, the peace you want, it all comes from focus. So stop scattering your energy. Stop giving away your attention to things that don't serve you. Focus inward. Focus on building yourself, on sharpening your mind, on growing your discipline, and watch how everything around you begins to change, because growth isn't magic. It's the byproduct of relentless focus. And once you master that, there's nothing in life you can't create. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that every situation requires their reaction. They think they always need to have the last word to defend themselves, to prove they're right. But the truth is, constant reaction is weakness disguised as strength. When you're quick to react, you give away your power. When you learn to observe instead, you gain control. Observation is a skill that very few people master. Most people listen only to reply. They watch only to judge. They're too busy preparing their reaction to actually see what's happening. And in that rush to respond, they miss the truth. They miss the details. They miss the opportunity to really understand the situation in front of them. But when you train yourself to observe more and react less, you start to see everything differently. You notice patterns in people. You see who is genuine and who is pretending. You recognize manipulation before it traps you. Observation sharpens your mind and protects your energy. Think about it. The person who reacts first usually loses control. They expose their emotions. They show their triggers. They reveal exactly how to be manipulated. But the person who pauses, who stays calm, who listens and observes before responding, that person is in control because silence and observation give you the upper hand. You're not showing your cards. You're not letting people pull you into their chaos. You're studying them while they reveal themselves. There's a power in letting people talk. When you don't rush to interrupt, when you don't jump in to defend yourself, people keep speaking. And the more they speak, the more they expose their intentions. They'll tell you exactly who they are if you give them enough silence. But most people never learn this because they can't stand the discomfort of staying quiet. They feel the need to react immediately. And in that rush, they lose the lesson. This isn't just about silence, it's about control. Every time you react emotionally, you're showing the world that you can be controlled. Someone insults you and you lash out. Someone criticizes you and you defend yourself. Someone pushes your buttons and you explode. That means they own you in that moment. They know exactly how to pull your strings. But when you observe instead, when you stay calm and refuse to react, they lose that power. They realize they can't move you, and that unsettles them more than any comeback ever could. Observing more and reacting less also protects your peace. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every insult is worth your energy. Not every battle needs your participation. When you stop reacting to everything, you free yourself. You're no longer a prisoner to other people's opinions or behavior. You choose where your energy goes. You decide what's worth responding to. And that freedom is priceless. People often think silence means agreement. It doesn't. Sometimes silence means you're wise enough to know that reacting is a waste of time. Sometimes silence means you've already decided to protect your peace instead of stepping into chaos. And sometimes silence means you're giving someone enough rope to reveal their own weakness without you lifting a finger. Your reaction is not always required. Sometimes the best response is no response. And here's the truth. People respect those who can stay calm under pressure. Anyone can explode when provoked. Anyone can fire back with anger. But when you remain steady, when you keep your composure while everything around you is chaotic, you stand out. You earn respect. You build trust. People look at you differently because you've shown them you cannot be easily shaken. Observation also teaches you patience. In a world where everyone wants instant gratification, patience becomes rare. And rare things are powerful. When you observe, you're not rushing to prove anything. You're waiting, you're watching, you're gathering information, and in that patience, you find clarity. Clarity leads to better decisions. Better decisions lead to better outcomes. That's how observing more and reacting less transforms your life. Think about leaders, thinkers, and strategists throughout history. They weren't impulsive reactors. They were observers. They studied people, situations, and patterns before making a move. Their power came not from noise, but from patience, clarity, and calculated action. You can apply the same principle in your life. Stop rushing to react. Start mastering the art of observation. Now, this doesn't mean you never respond. It doesn't mean you let people disrespect you endlessly. It means you choose wisely. You respond when it matters, when your voice will carry weight, when the outcome is worth your energy. By observing first, you ensure that your response is intentional, not impulsive. That makes your words more powerful, your actions more effective, and your presence more respected. So ask yourself, how many times have you regretted reacting too quickly? How many times did you wish you had just paused, stayed silent, observed the situation, and responded later with clarity? That regret is your reminder. It's telling you that observation is the smarter choice. The next time you feel the urge to react instantly, stop, take a breath, watch instead. You'll be surprised how much you learn, and you'll be grateful for the peace you saved yourself. Life changes when you realize you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to answer every insult. You don't have to prove yourself in every conversation. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is observe and say nothing, because silence doesn't mean weakness, it means control. And control is power. When you observe more and react less, you'll notice your relationships change. You'll notice your decisions improve. You'll notice your peace of mind grow. And most importantly, you'll notice how much stronger you feel within yourself. Because strength isn't about being loud. Strength is about being unshakable. And the path to becoming unshakable starts with observing more and reacting less. Your energy is your currency. Every thought, every word, every action is an investment of that currency. The question is, where are you spending it? Because just like money, if you waste your energy on the wrong things, you'll find yourself empty when it matters most. But if you invest it wisely, your energy multiplies, it builds you, it transforms you, it creates opportunities. The truth is, the difference between people who rise and people who stay stuck is not talent, it's how they manage their energy. Think about how often people give away their energy without even realizing it. They argue with strangers online. They gossip about people who don't affect their lives. They replay old memories that bring them nothing but pain. They say yes to obligations that drain them instead of strengthen them. Every one of those moments is a withdrawal from their energy bank, and then they wonder why they feel exhausted, uninspired, unmotivated. It's not because they don't have energy. It's because they're spending it on things that don't matter. Energy management begins with awareness. You have to pay attention to where your energy goes. Notice how you feel after spending time with certain people. Some people fuel you. Some people drain you. Notice what happens after you scroll for an hour. Do you feel inspired or do you feel worse about yourself? Notice how you feel after gossiping, complaining, or arguing. Do you walk away stronger or do you walk away empty? Once you start paying attention, you'll realize that most of your exhaustion doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from investing in the wrong places. And here's the key, you don't have unlimited energy. You only have so much to give each day. That means every time you waste energy on something meaningless, you're robbing yourself of the energy you could have used to grow. Energy you could have used to build your future, sharpen your skills, strengthen your mind. Energy you could have used to become better. But instead, you spent it on people and problems that didn't deserve it. That's why energy management isn't optional, it's survival. Managing your energy also means setting boundaries. You can't be available to everyone. You can't say yes to everything. You can't spend time in every environment and expect to thrive. Boundaries are not selfish. They're necessary. They're how you protect your energy. They're how you make sure you have enough for yourself, for your goals, for your growth. Without boundaries, people will take and take until there's nothing left of you. And when you're drained, when you're empty, you can't grow. Sometimes managing your energy means walking away. It means cutting ties with people who constantly pull you into drama. It means stepping back from conversations that go nowhere. It means refusing to explain yourself to people who have already decided not to understand you. Walking away is not weakness. It's wisdom. Because you know your energy is too valuable to waste on places where it won't bring a return. Energy management also requires discipline. It's easy to waste energy. It's easy to let anger pull you into arguments. It's easy to let boredom pull you into scrolling. It's easy to let insecurity pull you into comparison. But discipline reminds you your energy is limited. Every choice you make is either an investment in your future or a drain that keeps you stuck. Discipline is what helps you redirect your energy into what matters most. And let's be clear, investing your energy in yourself is the best investment you will ever make. Every hour you spend learning, training, growing, building, that's energy that comes back to you multiplied. Because when you grow, every part of your life grows with you. Your relationships, your opportunities, your confidence, your peace of mind, all of it improves when you put energy into becoming your best self. That's why focusing inward is not selfish, it's the foundation for everything else. Now ask yourself, if energy is currency, are you spending it like someone who's broke or someone who's building wealth? Because people who are broke with energy give it away freely. They waste it on negativity, on distractions, on things that don't build them. But people who are wealthy with energy guard it carefully. They invest it where it will grow, on health, on discipline, on mindset, on purpose. Which one are you? Another truth about energy, the people around you will reflect where you invest it. If you spend your energy on gossip, you'll attract people who gossip. If you spend it on drama, you'll attract more drama. But if you invest it in growth, you'll start to attract people who are growing. You'll find yourself surrounded by those who inspire you, those who challenge you, those who elevate you. Energy attracts energy. That's why where you invest it matters so much. And here's the beauty. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to know exactly where life is taking you. What you need is discipline in your energy. Stop wasting it on what doesn't serve you. Start channeling it into what makes you stronger, wiser, better, because one day all those small investments will add up. You'll look back and realize that the life you built wasn't the result of luck. It was the result of where you chose to put your energy every single day. Your energy is your life. Protect it, guard it, invest it where it matters, because once it's gone, you don't get it back. And if you waste it on noise, on negativity, on distractions, you'll have nothing left when opportunity knocks. But if you invest it in yourself, in your growth, in your purpose, life will reward you in ways you can't even imagine. So the next time you feel your energy being pulled, stop and ask yourself, is this worth the investment? Will this make me stronger? Will this help me grow? If the answer is no, then walk away, because your energy is too precious to waste. Spend it wisely and watch how your life begins to transform. Transformation is one of the most misunderstood words. People think transformation is a sudden event, a breakthrough moment, a big change that happens overnight. But real transformation doesn't happen like that. It isn't lightning striking. It isn't some miracle that shows up when you least expect it. Real transformation is built slowly, day by day, through patience and focus. It's the result of showing up consistently for yourself, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Most people quit before the transformation even begins. They put in a little effort, they focus for a few weeks, and when they don't see results fast enough, they stop. They don't realize that transformation is happening quietly in the background. Just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not working. Seeds don't sprout the day you plant them. Muscles don't grow the day you lift weights. Wisdom doesn't appear the first day you read a book. Growth requires time, and transformation requires patience. Patience is not about sitting still and waiting. Patience is about persistence. It's about the discipline to keep going, to keep investing in yourself, even when the results aren't visible yet. Patience is the understanding that everything meaningful takes time to build. Strength, character, resilience, success. And if you can't be patient, you'll never experience true transformation, because you'll abandon the process long before it has a chance to work. Focus is the second part of the equation. You can't transform if your attention is scattered. You can't build strength if you're chasing every distraction. You can't grow if you're constantly comparing yourself to others. Focus is what keeps you on track. It's what allows you to ignore the noise, the opinions, the temptations, and keep your eyes on the bigger picture. Without focus, patience feels like suffering. But when you have focus, patience becomes part of the plan. Transformation through patience and focus is like building a foundation. At first, it doesn't look like much. You're just pouring concrete, laying bricks, putting in effort that no one sees. It feels slow, it feels invisible, it feels unrewarding. But what you're really doing is creating the base for something that will last. The taller you want the building, the deeper the foundation has to be. The greater your transformation, the longer it will take to build. That's why patience is essential. If you give up too soon, you never see the structure rise. This is why you must stop looking for shortcuts. There is no shortcut to transformation. You can't rush patience. You can't fake focus. You can't cheat consistency. Every attempt at cutting corners will only delay the real growth. If you want to transform your life, you have to commit. You have to decide that no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it feels, you will keep showing up for yourself. And transformation doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. When you stay patient, you develop resilience. When you stay focused, you build discipline. Together, patience and focus change your character. They make you sharper, calmer, stronger, and that inner change eventually shows on the outside. People notice the shift in your confidence. They see the difference in how you carry yourself. They recognize that something in you has grown, even if they can't explain it. That's the power of transformation. But you have to understand, transformation is lonely at times. When you're patient, you're often working in silence while others are chasing quick wins. When you're focused, you're often distancing yourself from distractions that everyone else indulges in, and that can feel isolating, but that's part of the price. Transformation requires sacrifice. It asks you to give up temporary comfort for long-term strength. It asks you to choose growth over instant gratification, and not everyone around you will understand that. But they don't need to. Transformation is not about them, it's about you. The best part is this. Transformation doesn't just affect one area of your life. When you practice patience and focus in one area, it spills into others. If you learn patience in your career, you'll find it in your relationships. If you build focus in your health, you'll find it in your mindset. Transformation compounds. It makes you a stronger person overall. And that strength shows up everywhere you go. So if you want your life to change, stop searching for quick fixes. Stop expecting overnight results. Start practicing patience. Start sharpening your focus. Trust the process, even when you can't see progress, because transformation doesn't announce itself at the beginning. It shows up after months or years of consistency. One day you'll wake up and realize you're not the same person you used to be. You'll look back and see that all the patience, all the focus, all the sacrifices built you into someone unrecognizable in the best way. Life rewards those who are patient enough to keep going and focused enough to stay on track. That's the secret. It's not luck, it's not talent. It's persistence and discipline. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to keep moving forward, one step at a time, one choice at a time. Keep focusing, keep waiting, keep building. And before you know it, the transformation will be undeniable. So don't give up when it feels slow. Don't lose focus when the distractions come. Don't abandon your journey just because it doesn't look like progress yet. Transformation is already happening. And if you stay patient, if you stay focused, you'll see just how powerful it can be. At the end of the day, your life will always reflect what you choose to focus on. If you waste your energy chasing noise, reacting to every distraction, and giving your attention to people who don't deserve it, you will stay stuck. But if you choose silence to protect your power, focus to build your growth, observation to guide your reactions, energy management to guard your strength, and patience to shape your transformation, you will create a life that no one can take from you. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need to explain your journey. You don't need applause or validation. Your results will speak louder than words ever could. Silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. Focus is not selfish. It is survival. Patience is not waiting. It is preparation. And when you put all of these together, transformation becomes inevitable. Remember this, the most powerful people are not the loudest, not the ones seeking attention, not the ones chasing approval. The most powerful people are the ones who have mastered themselves. They know when to speak and when to stay silent. They know where to put their energy and when to walk away. They know the value of patience and the discipline of focus. And because they know this, they cannot be shaken. Your time is now. Stop explaining yourself. Stop giving your power away. Stop letting distractions steal your destiny. Lock in. Stay silent. Focus on yourself and watch how life changes in ways you never imagined. The choice is yours. You can stay the same or you can rise. But if you choose silence, if you choose focus, if you choose patience, your transformation is not a question of if. It is only a matter of when.